And that's right. Hello, Liberia. Hello, world. Hello, the United States of America. And we'd like to say a big welcome to another exciting edition of the program, Ashford, Garley Live, on this beautiful Tuesday night as we come to you from Detroit. I know some heard the name, some heard people talk about them. You've gotten the opportunity tonight to hang out with us on Bridge Radio Africa, Bridge TV Africa. Bridge Radio Africa on YouTube page. And folks, I'm telling you, you are in for a big treat tonight. So you might just want to tell friends, relatives, loved ones to log on to www.bridgeradioafrica.com. Join us on our Bridge Radio Africa Facebook page. Invite a few friends, special guests in the building tonight. The airwaves activist, Henry Petro COSTA. This is our guest tonight, folks. The way forward for the COP, among other things tonight, and of course, current events. You might just want to grab something to drink so that we can together have a great time tonight, folks. I'm telling you, very shortly, we're going to go to Information Highway, where Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts is standing by. Welcome again, and let's have fun. Once again, we want to go to Information Highway now. Mrs. Roberts, hello, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, welcome, and the microphone is all yours. Do your spell.
Great. Good evening, Mr. Garley. Good evening, and welcome to another thought-provoking Tuesday on Bridge TV with your host, Ashford, the Giant Garley. We are coming to you from 3 different platforms. We're live on Facebook, aka Bridge TV, YouTube on your YouTube channel, and BridgeRadioAfrica.com. Thank you for choosing Bridge Radio Africa as your choice of information and entertainment. We ask that you please share the broadcast, as we have a lot of goodies for you tonight. Please be respectful of one another. Please be respectful of our host. And most importantly, please be respectful of our guests. Last but not least, we ask that you please subscribe to BridgeRadioAfrica.com. Please make yourselves comfortable. Grab your drink of choice or your meal of choice. make yourselves comfortable, like I said, because we're about to take you into a thought-provoking evening. Have your questions ready when you're called upon to call in at 248-979-1718. Again, back to you, Mr. Garley.
Okay, you can just continue to familiarize yourself with some of our viewers and guests. As always, you might just want to read a few comments, and and then we can go from there. And then you probably can also bring us up to speed about the homegoing ceremony today of the late George Floyd. So read a few comments, and then you can touch on that as we wait for Henry COSTA to join us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garley. Before I read your comments, I just have a quote that I want you to be aware of. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up to your enemies, but it's even more to stand up to your friends. And that's by J.K. Rowling, the former president of Ghana. At this time, I'll read your trending comments before we go into the farewell of our brother and friend, George Floyd. We want to say welcome to Patricia Logan. She says, I'm on time, my brother. Good evening to all. We have Miss Rocadia John watching. Asumana Ability, he says, good morning, the giant. Watching you from Adelaide, South Australia. We have the Dr. George Toto in the building. Otello Grisby Foundation is watching from Boston, Massachusetts, USA. We have Mon Capuzzi. He says, hello to the family and all the viewers. Stay blessed, all. Oscar Ernesto Jr., the giant of our generation. I'm following from Turkey, Istanbul. Michael Bobby Bow. And now you know me.
Okay.
Patricia Logan is welcoming Charlotte Roberts. May Sawyer. Ha ha ha. Patricia Zeze. Hi, family. Patricia Logan again. Hawa Mesda, where are you? May Sawyer. Amen. Patricia Logan, Princess Chosen. Hawa Mesga is on time. Igwe Superwati is watching. D. Flo Flomo. Ashford the Giant. I would like to host you. When can you host me, Mr. AG?
Hey, please read two more comments. I think the talk show host, the talk show king is in the building now. So read two more comments, and then we'll do our flow and introduce Mr. COSTA to the world via Bridge Radio.
Eugene Harry, he says, one copy. Always, man. That now you know me. Garley, watching from Minnesota. Abu Babito Fofana. Good evening, Bridge Radio friends and family. Last but not least, we have from A.B. Bobley, my regards to the big sister, Mr. Garley. Back to you.
Thank you. You got your star, I got my star. You got your era, I got my era.
Wow, don't envy me for my star. Wow, running mortgage for my son. Wow, I get wow.
The CPP in Liberia. The team you're playing with, so. If you guys don't put your act together, the Mumu will be president for a long time. I just say my own.
The way you can to me, the way you can to me, the way you can to me. Oh wow.
couple of weeks ago, I told you.
You get your star, I get my star. Wow.
I said the Joseph Boyka, the Benana Ure, the Alexander Cummings, and Youngly Kanga. All these people are not buddy. They are not friends. This is politics 101 for you when it comes to Liberia. The way you buy my member, I buy your member. You steal my member, I steal your member. But we're supposed to be in a collaboration. Then we're stealing each other members. What kind of trouble we see us? What kind of country is this? How y'all win George where? At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce to you the ever powerful, the ever fearful, the no nonsense, Henry Petro COSTA. After 1 year of June 7, what is next for the COP? Please join me as we welcome to you, Henry P. COSTA, ladies and gentlemen. Petro.
The giant.
Welcome, my man. Welcome.
Thank you very, very much. Very good to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
We are honored to have you here, my man, at a very short notice.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. It's always a pleasure.
Wow. Today is June 9th, Henry. I know last year it was really tough. The city was tense, both in Liberia and the United States. While you guys were in Liberia, we were on our way to Washington, D.C., and it was a huge turnout, man. I think first of its kind. You want to walk us through retrospect a little bit. What is going through your mind now? And after 1 year of coming together as Council of Patriots, and I'm pretty sure you want to dive into how did you come about with the name? How did you coin the name Council of Patriots? What was going through your mind?
Thank you very much, Mr. Garley. And I want to say congratulations to all of us, yourself included, for everything you personally did, financially, morally, and of course, you flew into DC as well. I think it was actually the largest gathering of Liberians in DC in a long time for a protest. There were lots of people there. We couldn't, I mean, even though we had tens of thousands of people in Liberia at the Capitol building, but the crowd we saw in DC, I was personally astonished because people are very busy in this country. You know, to have people flying from all over to gather in DC, I think it was a very fantastic thing. And I want to say thank you for the role you play in that. And it's congratulations to all of us. Your question, what was going through my head when I thought about the name Council of Patriots? I felt what was going through my head, that patriots needed to stand up, Liberian patriots across political lines, across tribal, ethnic, religious, social lines needed to come together under one umbrella to do this thing. It was irrespective of political parties, irrespective of any of those things. And so the name council, you know, Mr. Garley, is where a group of people come together. But that particular group, we wanted that group to be patriots like Darius DeLong, patriots like Mo Ali, Mrs. L. Louis Garley, your own dear beloved wife, and patriots like Ashford Garley, patriots all over, patriots who even sometimes disagree with one another, as we all do, but patriots united in our love of country and our profound sense of patriotism and nationalism. That is what binds us together. And so that was what was working through my mind when I came up with the name Council of Patriots. And the body accepted, everybody. Senator Oscar Cooper, Senator Sandro Johnson, now Senator Darius DeLong, Mo Ali. Nobody objected to the name, the Council of Patriots, when I coined that name. So that was what was going through my mind, Mr. Garley. Patriots coming together, patriots in America, patriots in Liberia, patriots in Europe, all over the world, standing up to make to make a point to the world.
1 year later, Henry COSTA is still fired up, and members of the Council of Patriots are all fired up. And I heard you this morning talking about making some public appearance via press conference tomorrow, and now folks can be in London, can be in France, can be in Liberia, and sign up to become a member of the COP. How did it come through?
Mr. Garley, thanks to the wonderful team we have, wonderful, hardworking people. I am privileged and honored to serve as their chairman, but without them, we would not have done this. We have a website which was built for us, absolutely free of charge. To boast a little bit, this is the best website I've seen any Liberian organization have, you know. As you rightly said, it is built in such a way that anybody, anywhere in the world, as you know, we have members all over the world, and to make it inclusive, it is capable, it is built with the capability to allow anybody in the world, across the world, register to become a COP member, and at the same time produce that identification card with a unique barcode number for each person, and they can also pay their due online. As a matter of fact, since we put the site up, we've already had some donations come in, Mr. Garley. People are donating to the COP. And so all of this has not happened because of Henry COSTA. It has happened because of the hardworking team of people we have working across Liberia and Europe and America and all over the world. That is how we've been able to accomplish it. And much, much more is on the way. Our articles of incorporation is being processed. Had it not been for the COVID-19, we would by now have had our articles of incorporation as a duly registered legal organization in Liberia. And our articles of incorporation here in the US, we are registered. We have a bank account in the name of COP. So we're a fully functional registered organization because of the hardworking, wonderful people we have.
Well, and I personally want to say thank you. You know, whatever you do in life, whether it's behind the scenes, people are watching. You were named one of the top disruptors. As a matter of fact, you came at 33. There was Jones 7, and then the Laissez-Passer saga came. Thanks to the WEA project, you fly to Sierra Leone, and today you have been mentioned with the names like the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, the richest man in Africa, Dan Kute, Nana Akufo-Addo, Alassane Ouattara. When you heard about this, Henry, how did it make you feel?
Big brother, I nearly cried. I nearly cried. I mean, the people's struggle has elevated us. You know, they say every struggle to elevate the people also elevate the individuals in that struggle. And without this struggle, without what we have done together as a collective body, that recognition would not have been possible. And that is why I refuse to accept that it is my recognition, it is the people's recognition. They simply needed an individual to be named because they don't name institutions, they name individuals. So Henry COSTA is basically the guy in whose name the COP is giving that recognition as the 33rd most influential in Africa. It is humbling. I nearly cried. And I am still very overwhelmed by it today. To be named, as you rightly said, among the likes of Dangote and people I really truly admire. It's a very humbling thing. And it's a very great thing for us, for the COP. It's a morale booster, Mr. Garley. You know, these are things that the people celebrate. They feel like, yeah, we've been recognized. Our movement is internationally known. And it's a wonderful thing that we were recognized in such a fashion.
Well, looking at the protests in America, I'm pretty sure you are planning on to do a lot more different in terms of approaches to protests in Liberia. On the 7th of June, you did a podcast. And one of the things that you said during the protests in Liberia, you guys did a lot of backdoor negotiations, and protests just happen. In most instances in the real world, protest does not have leadership, and you can't plan protest as if you're planning a wedding for 2, 3 months. And you sit down and say, you know what, we're going to talk to the UN today. Tomorrow we're going to talk to the American embassy or the airports. It weakens the protesters, and it takes away the flavor, and people will start to think as to whether you've been tampered with. So going forward, after seeing what is going on or what we just witnessed over the last several weeks, what is next for the COP?
Mr. Garley, you're right when you said our people, from our experience, they were not pleased with the negotiations that were happening. Us sitting down with the ECOWAS people, the United Nations people, many of our people were not very pleased about that at all. And they made their displeasure known. And it's true. It casts doubt over the protest, whether it's going to happen. People start thinking, oh yeah, perhaps these people are trying to negotiate a deal, maybe something for themselves. There's a great deal of distrust out there, and it's legitimate. You can't blame the Liberian people for not for having these suspicions and doubts, because people in the past have betrayed them. So we have learned that in order not to dilute the momentum of the protest when it is building, we will not engage in fruitless negotiations. We will not. It is a decision that was reached by the COP. It doesn't mean we don't recognize the role the international community plays, but we also acknowledge and take seat and are seized of our constitutional rights and the need to exercise them whenever we feel that need has arisen. So that is exactly what we want to do. We want to not be bogged down by negotiations that really don't do much for us. In the past, we've been negotiated, sat down with the international folks, but we have not seen much. So this time, we want to stay focused and do what needs to be done.
Talk about the suffering masses in Liberia. The president announced about this stimulus for the people of Liberia, that on the 23rd of May, they were going to be distributing rights. You have folks on the ground. How is this distribution process so far, Henry?
It hasn't started, Mr. Garley. And they were waiting for this money from the IMF, which has now been approved on Friday of last week, $50 million. It's a loan, by the way. And this is the money they were waiting for before they do the food distribution. And of course, the state of emergency is to be lifted in a few weeks. So they didn't have the money, but they said they had the money. They told the Liberian people that the money was in a budget. They were reappropriating money in the budget, and they were going to buy food, but they didn't have the money. So it's only now they're saying they're going to do it, but they haven't even fixed a date. They don't know when it's going to happen. They're still waiting for the funds to be transferred from the IMF to Liberia. So we don't know when that's going to happen, but we have no faith in that process. Whenever it happens, fine, but we don't know when it's going to happen.
Now, what does that say to the leadership of this president? The Liberian people in the food business, and you're asking people to stay at home, and you can't feed them. Over here in America, we have all types of relief. We can do what we want, and buy and eat what we want. But growing up in Liberia, you have to do your little hustle. There's no way you can sit at home and get something to eat. That's a complete chaos. So how are they going to do this?
Well, it's just the government doesn't plan. They're not strategic. They're not competent. They make these blunders. They promise that there would be free electricity during the period of the COVID-19, during the period of the lockdown. That didn't materialize. They promised that food would be distributed right away. That hasn't happened. They said it was going to happen May 23rd. Distributions were going to begin. Well, today is June 9th, and we don't even know when it's going to happen. They haven't announced a new date. It just shows how very out of touch they are, how disconnected, how incompetent they are, and that is what they keep repeating. They always promise these things, in order to win to score political points, but in the end, they don't deliver on them, and then it backfires. This is what they do.
Well, there's this trust between you and the Liberian people, especially those who find themselves in government as well. For the length of time you've been doing this now, a little over 8 years, the people have that trust in you. When George Weah changes his drugs, you get to know about it, and now we're hearing that they are going to increase the price of gasoline. Uh, the cost for data now will be up there as well. What is going on in the telecommunication world in Liberia?
The COP had a meeting about this yesterday. I called a meeting as chairman, and the meeting was held virtual meeting. Some of our officials in Liberia were on. Some of our officials in America who could make it attended the meeting virtually. We deliberated and we concluded that there is a need to stage a protest. This time it will be a radical type of protest. It is not going to be the one where we gather in one space. We're not writing the government to request for a permit. We're not even telling them when we're going to protest. But efforts have been made, preparations have been made. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Liberian time, we will hold a press conference during which time we will officially announce that we are having a protest for the government to not do this. Mr. Garley, there are thousands of Liberians in Liberia who watch your show and follow you online thanks to the internet. And Liberians struggle to put data in their phones to be able to keep in touch with their family members, their loved ones, to make connections. Some people meet people online. They establish relationships that eventually become marriages. People stay in touch with their loved ones. And George Weah wants to take that away. And initially, the World Bank thought it was a revenue generation strategy. But when the World Bank gave him $40 million to say, Mr. Weah, do not do this to your people, he collected the World Bank's money and went back on it, and he wants to make sure this is done. So the COP is coming out very, very soon to protest. And we're not protesting for a day, in strategic locations, in strategic places, which will not be announced. Once our members here, we are in this location, they will be on a revolutionary mandate to join their colleagues, to join their fellow militants, their fellow patriots, to stage a non-violent civil disobedience. That's what they're going to do.
Again, folks, if you're just joining us, this is Ashford Garley Live on Brace Radio Africa. Like Mrs. Rabbit said, if you have a question, just jot down your question for Henry, and of course he will answer. Thanks, Moneyball, for reminding that. Henry, still on telecommunication. You were in a phone conversation with the chairman of LTA, and at first I was a little disturbed when I listened to the conversation, but with the expertise of most of the IT professionals, anybody can do whatever they want to do, But my question is, how did the recording get out? Did you recall this, the LTA boss, or did he recall you?
That's the question. I know I did not record him, so he must have done the recording, or somebody must have bought his phone and must have done the recording unbeknownst to him, because I did not record him. On the 23rd of May, Mr. Garley, on a Saturday morning, I did a podcast here in the US in which I laid out the government's plan, read letters and everything about how they were planning to increase the price of data and the price of voice call by 300%, which will make it unaffordable for most Liberians. Immediately after that live podcast, Mr. Garley, the first person to call me, seconds after I ended the podcast, was Mr. Ivan Brown. He called me on Facebook Messenger. I was not expecting his call. Facebook Messenger, the interesting thing is, Mr. Garley, when you call somebody on Facebook Messenger or on WhatsApp or any of those third-party platforms, you cannot use your device to record that conversation. You cannot record that conversation. So I spoke with Mr. Brown. I was surprised that he called me. And the things he said in the recording, that I asked him, why are you trying to, kill the Liberian people, in that sense? And he said, well, COSTA, I've really not been in support of this thing. I'm not in support of it. And I was shocked, Mr. Garley. I could not believe him telling me that when he was a scene person writing all these letters. Mm-hmm. So this was on May 23rd that we had that conversation. You know me, Mr. Garley, when I have recordings, I play them. The Mobile recording I had, I played it. Before that recording was played, Mr. Garley, the mobile model recording that I started playing on December 24th. Do you know how many diplomatic efforts were made? How many interventionist efforts were made by mobile model to try to stop me from releasing that recording, Mr. Garley? I paid $500 US for that recording. That was my first time in my 8 years on the radio paying for anything, any material. 500 US. And that recording cost me a lot of trouble because you remember that's when I got attacked. The first day I played the first episode, I had to spend another $500 for a gentleman whose vehicle was smashed. But still, I continued playing that recording. I did not stop. Offers were made, but those offers were turned down. So this recording with Ivan Brown, if I had a recording of him, I would have played it ever since. But I did not. He spoke to me in confidence. And as you could hear in the recording, I said, talk to me in confidence. And he said, my man, I'm not really supporting this thing. So I don't know how it was done, but he's the IT man. He knows about telecommunications. I don't. He knows about information technology. I don't. But I did not record Mr. Brown. And you know me, I'm not afraid of anyone. If I recorded Mr. Brown, I would say it, but I did not record him. But I don't feel sorry for Ivan Brown.
And the reason why I want to believe you, Henry, is because in that recording, I heard you say, speak to me in confidence.
Exactly.
The sound man that I know you to be, you would never tell somebody speak to me in confidence and record them.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
I want you to tell me something. You know, and he said, Costa, I'm not in support.
You know how to jump on Henry Costa sometime when he does something out of the way, right?
Everybody knows that.
It's common sense now. It's common sense.
Yeah. And he spoke to me in confidence. And why would I record him? You see, so if I had a recording, I would have released it. But again, why would I record him when I was asking him to speak with me in confidence and tell me what he was planning? You know, but unfortunately, Mr. Brown went to the legislature, Mr. Garley, on Wednesday, along with Samuel Twain. They are trying to repeal the LTA Act. In fact, I think it's already done. You know how the lawmakers are. They're trying to repeal the LTA Act to remove the financial autonomy clause, which allows the LTA to maintain financial independence, control their own money. George Weah wants to take the LTA's money. He wants to take the Maritime's money. He's taking all these monies from all over the place. So Ivan Brown had initially committed to cooperate with the executive branch of government. But then when he went with Samuel Twain on Wednesday at the Senate, Mr. Brown capitulated. He told the Senate that he was not in support of the amendment of the LTA Act. He wanted the financial autonomy component maintained so that he could continue to control his $8 million budget. And that's why Ivan Brown lost his job, because he did not cooperate to give George Weah what George Weah wanted. Yep. So that's what happened. And besides, Mr. Garley, I'm glad the recording doesn't show how Henry Costa was soliciting money from Ivan Brown. You see that? You see? Because if that recording had anything in it that said Costa asking for money from Mr. Brown, oh my God. You can imagine what it was going to be like now. Yeah.
I mean, you were in defense of the Liberian people about all these deals. That's what I got from the recording.
But that's all I'm asking. Why are you doing this to the people? Exactly. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
folks, if you're just joining us, I want to open up the telephone line now. If you have questions for Henry, he's here tonight. He has some time on hand. The number to call is 248-979-1718. Go ahead and call to ask your question. And as we listen forward to hearing from the caller, Henry, folks who have not met you in person, when you're behind the microphone, you're a totally different person. When they see you in person, you're a shy guy.
Well, people don't know that. When I tell people, they don't know that. But I think it's, yeah, I am a shy guy. But there's another aspect to me that people don't know. I don't like to impose myself. I don't like to make people feel when they're around that they're not around. So I try to not be over imposing and let other people, have their presence felt. Yeah, I try to do that.
I think we'll have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Yeah, hi. My name is Charles Jerry. I'm calling from Staten Island, New York.
Go ahead, make your point. You live on the radio. Henry is listening.
Okay, so, my brother Costa, how are you?
I'm doing very well, sir.
Yeah, I just want to commend this our brother. You know, he doing well for us, and for those of us that are in the diaspora, we must do everything in our might to be able. If we can pray for this brother, we pray for him. If we can be able to support him, we support him. Because I'm telling you, in my entire life, I'm now 55 years old. I've never seen a Nigerian who 5 years old. We have to, I'm not saying he's perfect. He has his own shortcomings. He's a human being. But we are older people and mature people who live in this country. We can do our own investigation too. Almost everything the brother says, when we do our own investigation, is 90%, 95% right. And we want to see that country move forward. We must be behind this brother and organize ourselves, because Liberia will have a problem is this organization. That's our problem. This organization.
Thank you.
So my only advice is let us focus around here and be able to move the country forward. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Okay. We'll go to the line now. We have Mr. Louis McCarthy on the line. Hello, Louis.
Hello.
Louis McCarthy. Hello.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I have an appeal for Mr. Costa.
Okay.
In as much he has the passion to bring these things to light, I appeal to your conscience. And thank God the protest this time don't have a date. Thank God the protest you are calling in Liberia get solved. Believe that this thing is killing them, but somebody get their knees on their necks. I want them to call for their mom. I want them to be able to get in the street. We don't want to put anything else on the line right now. You, Costa, I don't think you'll be in the country, and there are a lot of good people that we know. We don't want them to leave from the US to go protest for Liberia themselves that go through this pain. You are not suffering. You are not going through the pain. Though you feel the pain. But the people in Liberia, from the last protest, the way they took it, the way people from even the opposition tried to undermine this protest, I appeal to you. Believe what I want. Don't call for no protest. If the Liberian people can roster themselves, they're not ready yet. When you call people to get in the street, they say, before they can't kill you, you're not suffering. Let me put it in my real Liberia. You are not going through this thing. And people are actually, you're not going through this thing yet. You feel the pain for the people themselves. Why are we crying for the people in Liberia? When a man hungry, I know what he can do. During the war, people were hungry, brother were crying. They got in the street to bring food for their people. People got killed because they were desperate. I don't think Liberians desperate yet. The Liberians desperate, Jolia will not do this.
Thank you, Louis.
Saw what happened in Arab nation. Please.
Thank you, Louis.
Don't kill yourself for Liberian people until they get in the street themselves.
Mr. Garley, can I say something to my brother Louis McCarthy?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know.
Go ahead, Henry.
Okay, Louis, you know how I feel about you, bro. And
hello.
Hello?
Can you guys
Yeah,
please?
hello?
Can you guys
Hello?
please hold on? Somebody is speaking. I beg you. Hold on, okay? We'll get back to you guys. Hold on, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Henry.
Louis, somebody has to lead the way. Somebody has to lead the way. And it is a COP that's doing that. It's not Henry Costa. I may be the chairman, but it is a COP. You know, somebody has to step up, Mr. Garley. Even in America, the Black Lives Movement, George Floyd is the one person whose death, yes, he may have died, but his death has caused a great change in this country. That is leading the way, Mr. Garley, even though leading the way to his grave, but he has led that way across civilizations and across time. There have always been people to lead the way. In this great United States, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Frederick Du Bois, people have to stand up to lead the way. And if those people are us, Delon, myself, Mo Ali, and all those wonderful people who are in the COP, then, well, we are the ones who are chosen to lead this. So while we get frustrated at times, but you also have to understand, Mr. Garley, protesting is not part of Liberian culture. The Liberian people are raised, or they were groomed in such a way that they believe that the government has the right to do whatever it wants to do. So protesting is a new culture that we're introducing, peaceful protest. So that's what we're trying to do. So it's going to be difficult, but we will get there. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take 3 more callers and then come back to you, and you can respond to them. Then we can segue to our next segment that has to do with the collaborating political parties. All right, we have 770 number 770-771. Tell us your name.
This is Munel Kishen.
Hey, money boy, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, thank you, Ashford. I appreciate it. And thanks to Henry Costa for appearing on your show. And I want to say to the last caller, I understand sometimes people say that why someone should lead the protest or lead Liberians, they are not ready. In this country, what I noticed in America, the people who got, they always fight for the poor people. But in Liberia, people who have do not fight for the poor people. So we need to stop it. We need to stand up. We can afford it. But people in Liberia who cannot even afford it, right now they're going through hell to just get $2 plan on the phone. Now you want to take it to $6. So we must stand up. Somebody got to do it. The COP is a pressure group. And Tenga is one of the biggest right now in Liberia. And I want to commend Henry Costa for his leadership and all the other guys and all the members. We must stand up. This is not about Henry. This is not about me. It's not about you, Garley. It's about the people back home. Our people are suffering. If we back off now and say we're not going to say anything, we'll be killing them. Then what you been fighting for? Somebody got to stand there. Martin Luther King, all the guys, they stood up. Yes, they never saw the promised land. But at least today you can see some black man and a black girl and having a child. So we must stand up and do the same thing for our people. We got nothing to lose in America. We're not looking for jobs in Liberia. We got nothing to lose. Why we should be afraid to tell our president, listen, you're on the wrong track? Why we should act like a coward? That's wrong with George is because we're looking at it and we're trying to remain silent and we're not speaking. So I want to say, hey, we support you. I personally, I always say that. I support you, and God gave you that talent. And all the other people who got the talk show and continue to speak out, we're on the same page. But let us just continue. Let us just don't give up because we're in America or we can afford it and we allow the other people. There are people in our country don't even have nobody to give them penny. Some people in Liberia, God people will send money for them. But there are a lot of people who cannot help themselves, my people. So to all the other Liberians, please, let us rap every time. Oh, let's go work with George. Like, George will have to call, the president will have to call you to work with him. You can't just give a blanket statement and say, oh, I need your help. No. I can't walk to the executive manager and say, Mr. President, I'm here for help. Please, so I want to say thanks again, and Mr. Garley, and thanks, Henry, for everything you're doing and everything you're going to do, Garley. Let's just keep it up. Let's stand together and make sure we put some sense in our president here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I believe we have OC call. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, big brother Garley.
Good morning. Tell us your name.
Hello, Henry Costa. This is Samuel Guek calling from China again. The man who have been behind the scene supporting Costa in so many ways. And I plan to be showing my name, calling my name, because I love this brother. He's standing up for the Liberian people like Honorable Darius DeLong. What I'm really getting angry every time is those guys that are working in government, even those that call themselves police. You know, I always like to make mention of Samuel K. Doe because these were the same old problem. When people in government went and told Doe, say what you're about to do is wrong, Doe got angry with them and start witch hunting them. It's the same. There are a lot of guys in the police who is even educated than this government. There are a lot of educators. Why are they sitting now to see Judge we are going astray? They cannot tell this young man. This is a man who was a senator. He didn't say anything good for the Liberian people. He president, and people who are educated are sitting now in the Senate, are sitting now in the police force, the military forces. There are a lot of educated people more than the Jawea men.
I don't know how he got his degree. I don't know what the people are doing. And some of us, we're risking our life helping people. Friends calling you, my man, nothing, not doing, not easy. Oh, my man, help your man. Now, this young man is about to raise the price of telecommunication in Liberia. It's about time. COSTA, don't be afraid. I want us to look. At the same time, I was telling brother Emmanuel Service, we need to stand up together. Every one of us, we are fighting for the same goal, but we are in a little different areas. So we need to come together.
Thank you.
Let's work together. Emmanuel Service is working on justice.
Thank you, my brother.
Justice. The
Thank
economic concord to be in our country.
Thank
we
you
need
so
to
much.
work together.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for calling. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and where you call us from.
Hi, my name is Abel. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay, go ahead and make your point. You live on the radio.
Yeah, I just got a quick question for Henry regarding the conversation between him and the telecom boss, Mr. Brown. I listened to the conversation and Henry said that he did not do the recording. But as a journalist, I heard, I mean, at the end of the conversation, he back announced. So why he did that, he didn't do the recording. Can you just elaborate and make me to understand?
I was expressing shock. I didn't know the device was still on. You know how sometimes you have a conversation with somebody, and at the end of the conversation, you're like, wow, did Garley just tell me that? You know, and you think the person has hung up. That was what you heard. I was shocked that he said what he said to me.
Okay, caller, thank you. We have Moses Sandy on the line from Delaware. Moses, hello. Welcome to the show. Moses Sandy. You're live on the radio. Moses? Okay, 614-316. Tell us your name. 614-316. Tell us your name. Okay, I guess.
Is that 207?
207.
Did I hear a code 207?
Yeah, go ahead. Make your point, sir. 207. Go ahead. You're live on the radio.
Okay. Oh. How you doing, Ashford?
Good. Tell us your name.
My name is Joseph Thomas.
Hey, Mr. Thomas. Yeah, the politician.
Strong support at COP.
I know. The ARP man. Go ahead, make your point. Man, I'm problem with the phone here today, huh? Josephus?
And then we should have a representative all across the nation. And let this protest be a nationwide protest. It shouldn't be people within Monrovia alone, but all across the nation, from Grand Cayman County to Maryland County. So let the protest be all over Nima County, all around Bapolu. Even if we can make the arrangement go that Father Lofa, all around Grand Paso, everywhere. Let the protest be the same day all across the nation. So that George will learn lesson and he should stop being stubborn, because I listened to him Sunday. He was in the church talking a lot of stuff that he's not sort of talk. All the lies he lied. He said he feeded like grand people. So let this protest be a nationwide protest, and we're going to support you. We will pay all we can pay to get the nation to get the protest, a nationwide protest, and nobody should ask you for full money, because why? They are suffering. They protest. Church parents did not call anybody for full money. Everybody in Minnesota, they were in Maine, they were in Massachusetts, everywhere. So let the Liberian people see this protest and learn from it that nobody should ask Henry COSTA for money. We're going to come to you, but you are not supposed to feel anybody. It is their own enjoyment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josephus. One more caller. Alfonso Zion Soul.
Hey, Ashford, how are you? Hey, COSTA, how are you?
What's up, my brother? Long time.
Yeah, and the question I want to know, if COP does have a political ambition And the reason I'm asking this question, in one of his recent podcasts, he was calling for the inclusion of COP, which of course COP has been working. And now these politicians, from time to time, they have not served the purpose of the Liberian people. So I want to know exactly in terms of the inclusion, will COP produce some progressive or candidate, will they call for some sort of political accommodation at the end of the day?
Thank you.
By having maybe representatives or people that are contesting for various positions, be it senatorial position.
Thank you. Hello, Moses.
Yeah, Mr. Garley.
Yeah,
that is Moses Nedney from Delaware.
Okay, go ahead, make a point. Mr. Costa is listening.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Costa. Mr. Garlic, I just want to take Mr. Costa to the question regarding the recording which went public. The telephone conversation with the former head of the Mr. Brown. When I listen, as a former broadcaster, when I listen to the telephone conversation, Ashford, it broke my heart. It broke my heart because I heard Mr. Brown say that he was speaking to, that he was confiding, that he confided in Mr. Henry Costa. So as a media person, okay, if someone confides in you, I was just a little bit concerned that how did this recording go public? Did Mr. Costa tell Mr. Brown that he was being recorded? And if he did not record Mr. Brown, what did he record it and what was the purpose of doing that? Because if someone confides in you, it means that the person trusts you. It's an issue of trust. And as a media person, when I listen to that recording, the impression I got from that was the implication such action will have on the fight against corruption in Liberia. Because if newsmakers become a little bit afraid that journalists or talk show hosts not going to protect them, then it makes it difficult to talk to journalists, but even confide in journalists. So I just want Mr. Costa to speak to that for us, to help us understand what did the recording and what was the purpose of doing the recording, and without letting Mr. Brown know.
Well, I don't know at what point in time you joined the program, but I did.
I've already addressed that.
Okay.
He sounds like a journalist, but he's already answered the question. He's concluded that I did a recording. So it's okay, whatever you say. But I did not do the recording, my dear brother. So I have nothing to tell you about that.
So Moses, Mr. Costa said he did not do the recording. And if you actually listen to the recording, I even said to Mr. Costa, I said, knowing the kind of person you are, you're very smart. You would not tell somebody that want to talk to you in confidence and record the person, So Costa said he didn't do the recording. I go way back with Mr. Brown. I spoke to him very, very brief, but at the time I was not in the know of the recording, so I was still getting in contact with Mr. Brown. So he addressed the recording issue. Mr. Sandy, he said he didn't do the recording, and Mr. Brown he's an expert when it comes to IT. So
and Mr. Garley, there's another angle. Some people are saying, in fact, Mr. Brown's friends, some of his people are saying, I did a recording and I sent the recording to George Weah, the president. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I recorded Mr. Brown and I sent it to George Weah. Like, me and George Weah are so cool. We're so close. And then George Weah listened to the recording. That's how he fired the man. That's what some people are saying.
Okay. We want to go to the line again and bring in Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy? Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Tell us your name, ma'am. I'm trying to get him if I can get him. Tell us your
Hi,
name.
my name is Kalon Zayed. First of all, I want to say thank you, Mr. Garley. Secondly, I want to say thanks to Henry for coming on this platform. And to the callers and everybody who keeps trying to pressure Henry. He has said 100 times that he did not do it. You can't force him to say what he did not do. And secondly, whatever was in the recording when Mr. Brown went into the house, he said his truth. He did not go contrary to what he said in the recording. So why is he keep trying to blame Henry when whatever he said, according to him in confidence, was the very same thing he said in the house? So y'all stop blaming Henry for everything is Henry and Henry. Let Mr. Brown take responsibility for what he did. Period. That is my point. Thank you, Mr. Garley.
Okay. Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, Ashford.
Yeah, you live on the radio. I think we'll make you the last caller for now. Then we'll go back to Henry, and then we'll take some more calls. Go ahead. You're live on the radio.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Garley. Let me thank Mr. Costa for coming on. But you know, I'm one of those who believe that protests will never work in Liberia. And the reason is people don't plan protests, Ashford. Protest happens instantaneously. Something that'll trigger it, and then people get up the next morning. If the Liberian people will wait for whether it's COP or POC or whatever to say we're planning protests for this time, it's not going to work. Liberian people this time immemorial, we are scaring kind of people. Look, let me tell you why. Even with the doctors who took 8 or 10 years to go to school, they are not even able to protest to say, if you don't pay us, we will not. Even with the doctors that we depend on, they're not even able to protest for their livelihood. Who would do it? So for me, Henry will put his life at risk. How many? As for look at the talk show host, you're doing some kind of survey and see how many people in Liberia doing what everybody else doing. More than 90% of people who got talk show are out of the country. You know why? Because they are afraid. They're afraid. And you saw what happened to Henry. And everybody else who said, oh, this person died, another person died. Nobody wants to be somebody Jesus. And because of that, keep this thing. Nothing going to happen. Because the very Liberian people that all of you fighting for, they don't care about themselves. They don't care because they themselves should be rising 6 o'clock in the morning. Nobody even supposed to tell them, say, you'll get up and rise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Okay, we have this caller yet. Hello, caller.
Yeah, me, anonymous, please. I don't want to call my name.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just came on the show, but I'm going to give you info.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't want to announce my name right now.
Go ahead.
And just for the calling, the recordings, every government official right now in Liberia, their phone are being blocked by George. We are NSA monitors every government official from autonomous agency because they believe that these guys giving information out on George Weah. So they're monitoring their cell phone. That's it. So that is how they get the recording. They are monitoring every cell phone that owned by a government official, from minister, deputy minister, public corporation, directors. They're monitoring their phones. All the phones are blocked by NSA. So you gotta be very careful. I just got the info. That's why I called. I didn't want to call my name.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Garley, there you have it.
Yeah, but Henry, why are you being accused of recording Ivan Brown?
When I didn't play myself and I gave it to George Weah. I recorded him and gave it to Weah. Can you imagine that?
Okay, let's move on. Still on COP, Henry. Who's calling? Okay, still on the COP, Henry. Now, I want you to give us some answers here. Okay, Tilia Uri. Yeke Koluba. They were very, very key members high up there in the COP. What happened?
They left for their own reasons.
But Henry, you are the chairman. That should be.
But Mr. Garley, every organization, people are born Muslim, right? They grow up Muslim. They practice Islam throughout their lives. At some point, they decide to abandon Islam and take up another religion. The same way where people become Christian or born Christian and become something else. People get married and they divorce. So if people get married and divorce, if people can convert from one religion to another, what about leaving an organization? These things happen. People leave all the time. Ms. Yuri said her political interests and COP no longer align. I don't know what she means by that. But there are many people in COP with political interests. There are many people in COP that are politicians who have bigger political positions than Ms. Yuri, but they are still in the COP. So it was a personal decision for her, and I respect her decision. But the COP is not one person. The COP is a very powerful movement of so many people. So if somebody felt because they leave the COP would die, they're mistaken. The COP is extremely powerful. Since we set up our website, we've got almost 1,000 people have registered. If not for the complications some people are experiencing, there will be way more people who have registered on the website. The movement is powerful. So people will come and people will go, Mr. Garley. But the COP stands. Senator Johnson left, but he has come back. So he has his reasons for leaving. He has his reasons for coming back. People will come, people will go, Mr. Garley. But we value them, Ms. Yuri and Representative Koluba, for their time with us, the contributions they made. They have left. We hold no mileage. We bear no grudge toward them. We continue to support Yeke Koluba in his case in court. Our lawyer represented him in court. We won victory for him the other day. The government took appeal in the Supreme Court. So our lawyer still representing him, even though he denies it, but he would not change his lawyer. Because everybody knows Finley Kanga is a COP lawyer. So if you say it's not COP who gave you the lawyer, then just change the lawyer, get another lawyer. But we will continue to support Yeke because we are already on that particular case. But this is the way it is.
But Henry, don't you think both Yeke and Tillier were angry at the just and the protest? When we heard Yeke saying, Henry COSTA, where are you? Mo Ali, where are you? Darius Dillon, where are you? Come, let it arrest us together. And you guys were nowhere around.
Mr. Garley, I never said this before, but this will be my first time saying it. I had a very, very important appointment at the United States Embassy on that day, January 6th. I can show you the proof of that. I had to be there at 4 p.m. It was brief. I went in for no more than 35 minutes. I came back. When I came back, that was when they started attacking the protesters. I had to run to the embassy right up, Mama Point. It's not far. I got in the car. I ran up to the American embassy. I came back when everybody was leaving. The time I got back was when they started attacking us. So I was there I was not there when the attack started, but I came and they started attacking. And it was difficult even turning my vehicle around to leave the crowd because we're trying not to hurt our own people who were fleeing. I was there. I wanted to get out of the car, but my security people said, no, you can't get out of the car, because these people are shooting tear gas and doing all kinds of stuff. But I was there, Mr. Garley. But Yeke didn't know this. But Talia knew I had to go to this U.S. Embassy appointment.
Before we go back to the line, Yeke is always heard saying, I got something to talk. COP Monami vet because I will talk. What does he have to say?
Nothing. Yeke Koluba talks everything. You know him. He says everything. If Yeke knows nothing about COP to talk about. You understand? The COP operates in a very transparent fashion. We go to meetings, we discuss. Yeke has nothing to say about us. So that empty bluff, let him just forget it. He has nothing to say. But I don't want to waste my time with Yeke. We want to spend our time talking about the good things that are happening in the COP. The COP is stronger. The COP has very loyal members. If anybody thought if you leave, people will leave the COP because of you, that is a lie. Nobody left the COP because Yeke left or because Telia left. That is the truth. The people, you know how many people joined COP since that time? David Queer Nangwe, a young man who was a diehard Sidician, joined COP the same day Telia and Yeke left. He joined us. You know, tons of other people joined.
Okay, we want to go back to the telephone line, and we have Lofa Julius on the line from North Carolina. Lofa, hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, Big Brother Ashford. Thanks for having me on here.
You're welcome.
I just want to speak to a couple of things that were mentioned on here. I know I heard the last caller who chose to remain anonymous mentioned the fact that the system have been bugged in Liberia. I think I spoke about this the day before this guy just Sam stuff when I noticed that the system had been bugged. I came out and notified the Liberian people. But in this particular case, I can stand up and put my name, my license, and everything on the line and said this system, the recording was not handed to the government from the bug recording. And the original recording should be able to reveal all of this to the Liberian people. Why it is that everybody trying to blame Henry COSTA, I think the young man can simply make available the recording to the general public so that we could decipher it. If anybody else on this line here tonight have access to that recording, make it available to me and we would decipher it. We would know the device that was used to do the recording, the time the recording was done, the location, and then we would determine as to whether it was actually done on the government's device, because all government issued devices have their dedicated MAC addresses and IP where they're located. So we can better authenticate all of this information. We don't have to keep blaming the young man that it was Henry COSTA's fault. Somebody make the recording available. We decipher everything, and then we make it available to the public. If it was Henry COSTA who actually recorded this from one of his devices, of course, it's going to give us the timestamp, the location of the recording, the MAC of the device that was used to record this, and all of this is going to be available to the public. So that way, why are we wasting our time here trying to hold this young man hostage on the questioning as to whether he did a recording or not? Like, come on, we in the 21st century. Let us utilize technology to the best of our ability. That's all I just got to say.
Thank you, Lofa. I will send a recording to you after the show. Okay, 240-317. Tell us your name. 240-317-5499. Tell us your name.
Hey, this is Ali Kamara. Some people say Ali Samba. How you doing today, Ashford?
Good. Too blessed to be stretched.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little blunt out here, and I'll be speaking to my junior brother, Henry COSTA. I know he's a big guy, very popular now. The whole world know him. Mr. COSTA, you have served your purpose. I think the whole charade has been about a publicity stunt. But you are doing this at the detriment of the Liberian people. You are looking for political recognition. You have had some level of fame, especially among the females. I think your purpose has been served. There's nonsense about demonstration all of the time. It doesn't hurt your son in Italy. It doesn't hurt Aliyu Kamara in Maryland. It affects the everyday Liberian who depends on what they do on a daily basis to feed their family. And if you really love the Liberian people, you must desist, renounce every attempt to continue to harbor or distort economic processes in the country. You know, they normally say that he who asks for equity must come with a clean hand. Henry COSTA, we have your record. We know that you are rubbing shoulder with a Unity Party-led government in the lines of corruption. Let the people be. Let us wait for 2023. You took money from George Weah, you took money from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you took money from Robert Sirleaf, you used the loud annunciations to make money. And you have done some of that. So why don't you leave the ordinary, everyday people alone? Leave the streets, Henry Costa. Use your popularity to help the people. You are causing problem in the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Let me respond to that caller, Mr. Guy.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Respond.
The only reason why I would dignify the rubbish he said is because of the benefit of the audience. But if he thinks that we are the troublemakers, why is it when we brought 20,000 people out on June 7, nobody was hurt? Not a single store was looted. No car was damaged. The international community commended the COP, praised us for the level of peace and the peaceful nature of the protest. So that gentleman must be a government supporter, but clearly they are in a minority. I can understand where he comes from. It's a dying breed. My brother, your CDC is dead. Some of you are angry because George Weah was once very popular. Today he isn't. And I'm sorry, it is he who squandered his popularity with greed and wickedness. He let the people down. If George Weah, let me tell you something, Mr. Garley, God first. The second person I am most grateful to for my level of popularity, let me sound a little vain, petty, let me put it that way. Mr. Garley, you know me. When I was on the radio during Ellington, did we have this kind of appeal? Did we have this kind of influence with the Liberian people? No, we did not. George Weah has given me the greatest gift of my life by failing the Liberian people, by turning so many people against him, by proving me to be right when I say all those things about him. And that is the reason why we are this widely followed, widely supported by the people, for which we are humble. So, well, shame on you and shame on George Weah. That's what I have to say.
Okay, we're going to go to the line now. We have Musu Benson on the line. Hello, Musu.
Hi, Ashford. How you doing?
Good.
I just want to say something very short.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know why everybody just accusing Henry Costa with this. People accusing Henry Costa with that and everything. Why would the Liberian can accept this? Our own responsibility of doing things? We always passing blame on somebody. Eh? Why? Eh? Henry Costa alone, what is trying to for him to do? To work miracle in Liberia? Eh? Hey, leave the poor boy alone. Leave the poor boy alone.
Okay. Allah.
Oh, in Liberia?
Okay, we have what is this? We have Moses on the line. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Garley, how are you?
Good.
Yes, this is Steve calling from Phoenix, Arizona. Costa, I'm hearing what's up.
You might want to please speak to the microphone.
The Liberian people are the most important people on earth, and that's why we are having this discussion. I also believe the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth, and Henry Costa knows that, and you, Mr. Garley, know that as well. But the first thing I want to say is whether the whole issue of Costa's recording this man or whatever now, honestly speaking, my honest view, I have a lot of discrepancy on it. The first part I tried to ask was this. When did this recording surface? And when was this letter announced? We got to put those pieces together first. The letter of his, whether they're firing him or they're putting on suspension or whatever it is. Once we gather that.
Uh-oh. Well, we lost the caller. Well, Moses, you can call back if you have the time. Hello, caller.
Hello, this is Jonathan Russell calling from Texas.
Mr. Russell, hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I just want to say this thing. Whosoever that passing around and maybe saying the trash talk of Aaron Costa exposing audios around, I don't see any reason in it. Because if an educated man of such will sit in the country, will sit in an institution and allow George Weah to rob the nation and carry the nation in the drain and he's not able to sit and speak out of his mind and want to go in the corner to speak his mind, I don't see any reason of someone exposing him. People sat in school, they learned the pledge of allegiance. No one pledged their allegiance to the political party, nor to the president. They pledged their allegiance to the Republic of Liberia. So why would people sit and allow people to drain this country and to carry this country down the drain that our children that will come after us will suffer? I don't have any regret if a Henry Costa exposed that audio. If he did, he's 100% right, because that minister started to say he's an empty drum and he shouldn't be sitting there at all and allow the president to do what he's doing to his country. And that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Garley, let me say something to you.
Yeah.
Ivan Brown is not an innocent man yet. This is the man, Mr. Garley. When I was supporting George Weah, I made a request of him. Please return my radio station. Mr. Weah agreed. He sent me to Mr. Brown through Nathaniel McGill to reissue my license that was revoked during the early time. Mr. Brown reissued the license. We started operating. Eugene Nangwe wrote the broadcast permit for the Ministry of Information. This same Ivan Brown, when the time came for me to renew my broadcast permit, my license, I wrote Mr. Brown. He refused. Mr. Brown refused. I wrote him letters, and I sent copies of the letters to the international communities, including the American Embassy. I sent a copy to the American Embassy because I knew Mr. Brown was going to refuse. Mr. Brown refused to renew my permit, my broadcast license. And then Mr. Brown went ahead in October, wrote the Minister of Justice to ask them to shut down my radio station. This Mr. Brown. And he told the Ministry of Justice that I was operating for 2 years illegally. When he was the one, Mr. Brown is a criminal. Mr. Brown has no integrity. Mr. Garley, the man issued me a license. And the same man, when I went to renew the license, he refused to renew the license. Then he went and wrote the Ministry of Justice, asking the Ministry of Justice to shut down my radio station. This man, Mr. Garley. So but I did not record him. But I've got no. And this is the same man who is trying to increase the price of data from $2 to $6. You've seen the documents, Mr. Garley. Have you not seen the documents, the letters? This man is asking the companies to charge the Liberian people the data package they're buying for $2. He's asking them to charge the Liberian people $6. He's insensitive. He doesn't care about the people. And as you can hear in the recording, I'm asking, why are you trying to kill the people? Then he pretends to me in the recording, I'm not in favor of you. Well, I have no sympathy for somebody who is self-serving. He can go cry all he wants, but I did not release any recording. So we may continue.
Okay, folks, again, if you're just joining us, this is British Radio Africa. You're listening to Ashford Garley Live on this beautiful Tuesday night in Detroit. We want to move on now to something that I believe Henry has interest in. Henry, before we go to the CPP, I mean, the CPP, of course, but let's touch on NIMBAT for 1 minute. When this lady entered the race, or when she decided that she was going to be a part of the senatorial process, Mrs. Edith Gonglo Ware, she appeared on your show, I believe, quite a few times, and you actually said this lady has it in terms of the base in NIMA. As a matter of fact, she served as superintendent in NIMA, and she also contested against Prince Johnson. Rumors have it that she may have won the election. And here comes Mr. Tai Wongwe, and they both represent the CPP. How is this going to work, Henry?
Well, Tai Wongwe is a friend of mine. Yes, we had some issues in the past, but we're cool. We talk. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a well-accomplished young man. I admire Tai Wongwe. Progressive. Tai got beamed up, but he got beamed up for nothing. You know, he can actually back up his big mouth. He's a, you know, but on a serious note, Ty is a very fine gentleman, and he's an entrepreneur. He's built a successful business, created a lot of opportunities for a lot of people. Edith Gonglowe, on the other hand, is an accomplished, distinguished public servant with a track record that speaks for itself. She has integrity, she has credibility, she is very brilliant. As superintendent of Nimba, she impressed the people of Nimba, which is why when she ran for senator, when she ran for the Senate, she did very well. She kept bringing us hell. Edith Gonglo is definitely very, very strong. So yes, the race in Nimba, the CPP will, they both will go to a primary, Mr. Garley. They will go to a primary, and those who are qualified to vote as the delegates in that primary process, they would make the decision as to who runs. But I think they both have qualities that they bring to the table. But clearly, Edith Gonglo has been tried and tested, as you rightly said, you know, in Nimba. And Tai Wongbe, on the other hand, I'm not just dismissing him at all, because he brings a lot to the table. So I think at the end of the day, this matter will be resolved politically. They will get to the primary, and then the better person, or I wouldn't say better person, the person deemed best suited or better suited would be selected by the people in the primary process, where I will not be voting.
Would there be any primary? Because I don't know how authentic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This documentation that we saw a few days ago about the distribution of counties amongst the explain.
The CPP framework says there are some districts, there are some counties where if they can't agree on certain things, they will put it to a primary process. Yeah, it provides for that somewhere in the CPP framework document. So yes, there will be a primary process.
Skype video.
Okay, Handel, what at the weekend on Saturday there was this chaos at the headquarters of the ANC. I believe Myers is his name. The youth wing chair of the ANC was about to do a press conference, and of course there was eruption.
It was actually Moba Kessley, a junior brother of mine, the Secretary General of the youth wing of the ANC, who was about to do the press conference. He and a number of other ANC youth wing officials and members, they were about to do this press conference, and I watched it. And the press conference was to expel the youth chair, Mr. Benjamin Myers, a young brother of mine I've known for many, many years, fine young man. And then it got disrupted. Of course, these things happen, Mr. Garley. They're in political parties. People have disagreements. Sometimes they take it out in the physical form. And so it was unfortunate, but these things are quite mundane in the whole political business. Yeah. So, but I don't know whether Benjamin Myers has actually been removed, because I don't think that was the right way to remove him anyway. But, you know, because you don't just issue a statement and say you're removing the youth chair. He was elected. But anyway, I watched that. But it's ANC internal business. I don't want to put my mouth there.
No, it's actually bigger than ANC's internal business. It is alleged that this Myers gentleman was called by one of the political leaders, Bernard Yuri, and asked him to join the ALP. He was going to buy him a vehicle and a cell phone.
I don't know anything about that. What?
You
right. When I heard them,
you one of the closer person to Bernard. So
I agree, but I don't know everything, Mr. Garley. You are close to Bernard too, but you don't know everything. So I heard when I heard him reading the press statement, they said he was negotiating with another political leader and blah blah. But I don't know who that political leader was they were referring to. But if that's what Myers wanted to do, I don't know. I can't say. In fact, I don't have the evidence to that effect. I don't.
But Henry, what is this back and forth between these collaborating political parties about?
It's ego, Mr. Garley. I watch your show all the time. I hear you talking about it, and I just be laughing. You know, what are you talking about? You got grown men and a woman. They all got their egos, and they're clashing. Because look, politicians are egotistical people. Anybody who gets up and says, I want to lead everybody, Mr. Garley, the first thing you need to have a tremendous amount of ego. Your ego has to be bigger than yourself. Let me tell you something. Exactly. So when you put all these men and a woman with their ego, you expect there will be clashes. So that's the reason why. But it's not that they don't hate one another. Mr. Cummings doesn't hate Mr. Ure. Mr. Ure doesn't hate Cummings and Boakai. Boakai, he just doesn't. For him, he's very quiet. He doesn't bother anyone. But and a lot of times these things are inflamed by the supporters of these people. The supporters of these people. On the other hand, the Liberty Party people, they don't make a lot of noise though. You gotta give it to them. Liberty Party people, But I think these things are natural when people are working together. But the storm is settling, Mr. Garley. The storm is settling. And part of what I did as an individual, I decided, look, you know what? I'm gonna help to try to bring some harmony, some peace to reign. That's why I made a decision to work with the CPP, because a lot of people look to me to try to make this, to help to try to make this thing work. So I felt it would be selfish of me, to not, try to help make it work. It's not perfect. I hear you criticize the CPP all the time, and a lot of times your criticisms are legitimate. Even though I think a lot of times you are a little unfair, but I think most of the time when you were talking about the provision in which it said only CPP people, but there's also another provision that says all qualified, competent Liberians will be given jobs in the CPP government. But by the way, that framework agreement, you see, the lawyers will do the final version, and they are going to tweak it and make some adjustment to that. Yeah, so it's going to work.
Well, you have had conversation with one of the political leaders, Mr. Alexander Cummings, and from day one, Mr. Cummings continues to say that he wants to lead this country. He wants to be president of Liberia, and truly so, Mr. COSTA. Nobody wants to go in a competition, hoping that you become second or third. I think he's entitled to his own view and stuff like that. But my question now is, how is this going to work? You have Joseph Yuman Boyka, who holds 28% of the all vote. I know people don't like me to say, because it's been 3 years now. Things have changed, so they don't want us talking about it. But this is the only raw data that we have.
Thank you. It's the only available data.
Okay, and Cummings is at 7.2. He did extremely well when he came into the competition and ended in the 5th position. What do you think going to be on top of this ticket? Because I know you see things ahead of time, Costa.
No, Mr. Zagani, please don't. I'm not a prophet. I beg you. No, but actually, that question is a setup. But here's what I think. At the end of the day, it will be decided through a lot of things. And Mr. Cummings has the right to say he only wants to be president. And I can understand where Mr. Cummings is coming from. And I think more than anybody else in the CPP, former Vice President Joe Boakai, former Vice President Joe Boakai understands where Cummings is coming from more than anybody else. You know why? No. Because he was vice president. He knows what it means to be vice president in a government where particularly you don't have a good relationship with the president. You are nominal, you have no influence, and you're just sitting there. And so Mr. Cummings has decided, look, you know what? I'm not in this thing for position. I want real power to make real change, to make a real difference, to impact all of the people of the country. And so I think I can only do that from the presidency. And that's a strong argument. He's saying, people get angry with him. Why should you say you should only that? But that's what he wants to be. He has his right. I know we beat on him for saying it's the only thing he wants, but it is his right, period, Mr. Garley. You say, I don't want to be VP. Watch this, somebody say, be the VP. Mr. Cummings is right. The vice presidency has no real effect. You have no importance. You do nothing. You just sit there. The presidency is the one that has all of the power. So I can understand when Mr. Cummings says, I don't want to be anything else but president, because that's why I want to make the change. He's right, 110% right. Now, here is the issue. Mr. Cummings also says, if for any reason I'm in it to become the top, if they don't select me to be the head, I will not leave. I will stay and support the CPP, but I will not be VP. He has said that. Even in private conversations that I've had with him recently, he continues to say that, Costa, this is not about me. If I don't become the candidate in 2023, I will not leave the CPP, and I will hold him to his word. I will stay in the CPP and I will support whoever becomes the head. But I want to be the head. And as you rightly said, Mr. Garley, who enters a race wanting to be second, right? Who wants to play second fiddle? Nobody wants to play second fiddle. So Mr. Cummings has his right, and I agree with him that the only place you can make real impact, Mr. Garley, vice president, man, you're just sitting there, you know. So you gotta understand that where Alexander Cummings come from. People say, "Oh, the man is egotistical." Every goddamn politician is egotistical. Hello, Mr. Garley. Anybody who get out in the village and say, "I won't be the tanti," my man. All the men in here that won't be the tanti, that man get be hot, Mr. Garley.
Yeah. Well, you still have a lot of folks here that want to feel and touch you, and they also want to speak with you. My cousin Tyler told it. It's been a long time, Tyler. DJ Wilder was the DJ the last I did Costa. This guy is one of the hottest in the world. And as a matter of fact, we encourage all of you to come to Club Quarantine every weekend. Yeah, at Bridge.
I had a great time, man. Watching you guys, I enjoyed it.
Okay. Want to go to the line again. 267-474-7602. Tell us your name.
Hey, I just Prince P.C. Collins Jr. and I call from Texas.
You're live on the radio. Go ahead and make your point.
Hey, I just want to say a big hats off to my friend Brother in studio, Brother Henry Coaster, for all the vision and everything he's done for our country so far. But my major concern right now is how we try to generalize things when it comes to how politics is running in Liberia. We see in the CPP right now, there is a single female in the CPP, for which I personally have a problem with. And as a young generation growing up, I think we should be encouraging women to step up to the plate in politics. And I see, I'm not a founding member of COP, but I am a big supporter. Yeah. I don't go up making my contribution like biblically or prayer, but I do what I can do to support the COP.
Thank you.
I want to encourage my brother, after young people coming up, to see how best we can encourage the female generation of our time.
Thank you.
Because I see right now, COP, there's a single female, like in the leadership. I don't know what is the standard that we see, that we going about in Liberia. What we just feel like women should step back and we the men should be in the forefront. But I hope this generation will look another turn.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks for calling.
Step up.
Thank you so much. All right, 810. Tell us your name.
Yeah, Octavius Gilman.
Mr. Gilman, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to take this time to say, I just want everybody to keep our former vice president, Mr. Walker, in the prayers. I mean, when the old man just fell, 2 days ago, he was rushed to the hospital. We pray that he get well soon. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but he is not doing well. Thank you very much.
Wait, I don't know about this though. I mean,
Octavius, this is not a place to play. Okay, when you come on here, I beg you, please listen to me. Listen, you came on here last night and said similar nonsense. You don't come on the show and play. It's not a play thing. That I'm small train radio station here. I'm begging you. You hear me?
If you don't know, you don't know, Mr. Gotti, it's true.
I don't, Mr. Garley, if the former vice president was not well, I would know. I communicate with him all the time, and he and I are very close. So, and I know a lot of people close to him too. I would definitely know. Former Vice President Walker is doing very, very well.
Okay, James Aquaid. Hello.
Yeah. I am Ashford. I mean, the guy who just made a call, This is something the guy just playing and the rest of it. But I want to take this time to really commend, my junior brother and Henry Costa. Costa, let's be frank. Let's be frank for you. Sometimes when I call on your show, because I lived on the GFA role for more than 25 years. I mean, each time I will call on the Costa show, Ashford, had different. My family will be attacked. Now, why live on the GFA role? Or you have Garley and will call you people the ones supporting him. And I will not stop. Costa, when it comes to district number 6, I am going to lead a special campaign. I lived in that place for more than 20 years. I lived in that place for more than 20 years. We're going to make sure, I don't know, this coming election, whether you're going for representative or the rest of it, especially at the district level, we will ensure that you get it this time around, especially in district levels. And finally, what I want to say also is that you see, for every generation, they can always around a particular individual and of what is going on. I think Costa is the of what is going on. You see, the Ghanaian or the Nigerian pastor who told Costa, not to go in the rest of it, a day before Costa left.
I'll quit 1 more minute, please. We got a lot of callers on. 1 more minute, please.
Yeah, just a day before Costa left for Nigeria, I had a dream that Costa was really running. That he was really running. I get my daughter with me, and I was trying to explain this dream. She said, Daddy, but how you just jumped and sleep like that? He was running. Not knowing this is what was going to happen in Sierra Leone and the rest of it. But, my brother, all that you're doing, God continue to guide you and protect you and the rest of it. And we will continue to stand by you and to support you 100%+ along the way. And I'm convinced that you are,
thank you, James.
You are not the one who gave that recording.
Thank
you.
You
are not the one who gave that recording.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll have Amos on the line from Georgia.
Mr. Garley, how you doing?
How you doing, Amos? Welcome to the show. I don't know. There's a feedback in there. Please mute your phone if you're not talking.
And hi to Mr. Costa. I must congratulate him for his effort. I got a comment and a question for Mr. Costa. During the early days of George Weah,
just cut you off.
I saw Mr. Costa supporting George Weah, and I came on the program. He came on like the day that he signed the Bowman Day, all was genuine day, and Costa was supporting George Weah, but that was a good day for like 3 people. 10 cents. Can you say today that at that time was a mistake he made, and if so, what can you tell the Nigerian people? What was he thinking at the time? And the next comment is, I want to ask Mr. Costa. I know you love like this, got a passion, but do you have time with anger management issue? And sometimes the way he presented, what is the lesson that the young people that are coming after him will learn from it?
Thank you.
Let me respond to him, please, Mr. Garley.
Hey, go ahead.
When I was supporting the government for 10 months, I had said I would give Mr. Weah 1 year, to see how he fares and whether his intentions were honorable for the country. But unfortunately, it was too difficult for me to go beyond 10 months. When I knew there were many things my conscience pricked me about, Mr. Garley. I was misled. I was led to believe that certain things were real when they were not real, such as the Evo Mav deal, the Eton deal. I was led to believe a lot of things that turned out to be. Those were the reasons why I left, my dear brother, and those were the reasons why I left. So, do I have regret for supporting him? No, I don't have regret, Mr. Garley. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I came to the conclusion that Mr. Weah did not mean well. That's why I left. And anger management, I don't need anger management because I'm not an angry person. I'm just very passionate and I get angry like everybody else, but I don't have an anger problem. I get angry about the way our country is being abused, misruled, and that's what's the case.
Okay, if you call and you can't meet your phone, I will hang up on you. If you call and you can't meet your phone, I will hang up on you. Let's go to the line for Christmas. Christmas, hello.
Hey, Mr. Garley, this is a revolutionary Peking Christmas Silly.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Henry Costa, Bagu is strong.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm here today with a very passionate plea. As a supporter of COP, I'm here to say that I want to provoke Brother Costa in a revolutionary spirit. I want to appeal to the kindness of the audience and to your platform, Mr. Garley, your good office, and your team. Mr. Garley, on the 20th of this month, on the 20th of the 22nd, I stand to be corrected. 3 years old Francis Mensah was murdered by a Liberian police officer by hot water. The COP is an organization that stands for the forgotten people in forgotten places, the poor, the oppressed, and the downtrodden. This is not the second time that Liberian security forces have gone to West and killed people in cold blood and nothing have come from out of it. I want to let the audience tonight, including Brother Costa, to let them know that we have allowed the process to work. The process has failed. Francis Mensah, the police is playing tit-a-toe with his case, and they have come to rule that, you know what, he ain't gonna get justice. You know what, I'm just frustrated, but Mr. Garley. But I hope that as I raise this concern, another day you will hold me as a guest, because I don't know how much time I have to tell you and give the audience detail about what's going on. But I will be going to Liberia next month, so that we'll organize a little protest. Now a little protest, hopefully it can be as big, because I'm praying for the support of the Council of Patriots. And I'm trusting that if you know that this will bring some. I buy into the Council of Patriots idea. I admire Brother Costa. I love the brother. He knows me, and he started from Swan. I mean, top plenty here on the show. But Brother Costa, no, we started barefoot, but I love him, and I care about him so much. And I'm trusting that Brother Costa will maybe give me a call or accept a call from me. Or Brother Costa, maybe you can talk to Councilor Finlay. Councilor Finlay is the lawyer we hired to take care of this case. And
Yeah, he's a COP lawyer. He's told me about it. And voice about it.
I cannot like that. 3 years old, whole lot of dreams ahead, futures unfulfilled, a high school to graduate, a family of his own. Everything was cut short at the age of 3. God bless you. God bless Brother Costa, and God bless Abraham Darius Dillon.
Thank you. Okay, Lo-Fi is back again. Lo-Fi, hello.
Yeah, big brother Ashford, how you doing, boss?
Good.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that you brought me back here, and let me apologize to my Liberian people first of all, because they're not gonna like me for this, because I just want to talk to it. I spoke to something earlier regarding the recording, and why it is true. It had nothing to do with the discussion tonight. I'm enjoying the conversation, but I felt like it's only fair to our listening audience to play out a couple of things that some of our people don't know. I don't know anything, okay? I'm not one of the smartest people on earth, but I would not claim to be one of those people who know it, because our typical Liberian people, they know it all. They know everything in the world. I wrote on here that there's a possibility of being able to decipher the recorded source and any source and be able to provide to our Liberian people information. And Prince came out here and spoke of, how can you do this? What if it's hard-based and all of that? Let me tell you, to those of you who read the comment and you texting me, call me Lo-Fi and calling me, I'm not going to call nobody. I'm not calling nobody. That's not part of my responsibility. I'm not going to do that. But let me tell you something, right? In information technology, okay, and digital communication, there's what we consider, what we call the three-way handshake, all right? Henry Costa and other people have made it clear on here. And if the brother can just allude to that, was this not a phone communication? The conversation was held on the phone. Is that right, Henry Costa? You said that this was a phone conversation that was recorded. Am I right or wrong? If the brother
called me on Facebook Messenger.
It's
Facebook.
Via Messenger.
Thank you. So via Messenger, that tells you that it's a digital communication. That means it was done that way. What we have the sync act and the acknowledgement. What that is I'll reach out to you, Henry Costa, Ashford, and say, big brother, and you acknowledge my consent. Say, hey, Lo-Fi, then I'll understand. That is how the digital communication works. Even with voice over IP communication, it works that way. So to hear a man who's telling us that he understands digital communication or other things come out here and talk about it being hard-based or not, I am a little disappointed
in some of the knowledgeable people we have here, the sophisticated and educated people. So some of us who are not educated, we meet dummies around here. But to everybody who read the comments from praise, do not get carried away by that nonsense. All right? There's a lot of information.
Yes, sir. Ahora la primera little yes series.
You know what, big brother? I don't like when you do it like that, for real. But anyway, I appreciate you bringing me back on, though. But on the real, that whatever Prince is talking about on here, I hope he will invest a little bit of time in understanding, because Henry Costa made it clear to all of us that this communication was done digitally. You have digital communication, all right? I call you on Facebook, that's digital communication. It's considered voice over IP, all right? Voice over internet protocol. That's what it is. VoIP, VoIP. Voice over internet protocol.
Thank you,
that's what it is.
Thank you.
So if he doesn't understand that, it's okay. We can talk about this another time. If you want to call me to the table, I'm always willing to do that. Even though he can teach me a little bit about it, I'm willing.
Thank you,
Ashford.
All right. 678 number 678-492-5736.
Madeline, thank you, Ashford. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ashford, and hi, Eric Costa. This is Madeline Mayonga from Minnesota.
It's been a long time, my sister.
Yeah, I want to say, if you are a leader, in order to be a leader, you have to be a father. First of all, I want to say thank you to Henry Costa for taking care of his little son. That's what you call leader. Half of the men that leave for America here and go to Liberia to go their position, they abandon their children and their family in America. So if they get fired or they get suspended, so what? What they deserve is what they get in Liberia. America, you do the protest, you will support the COP. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline.
Mr. they will want to resonate deeper.
I said, okay, we'll have Sanford Roberts from California.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
It's been a long time, my man.
California. Good afternoon, Henry, and good afternoon to your listener as well. I have a few questions for my brother.
Okay.
With the COP. You know, I most of the time I let the direct my question relating to the COP to the chairman himself. I see Minnie Parker Dimore is probably eyeing the senatorial seat in and what the place in Bond County. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, the COP, I know it's a grassroots movement that has to do, it's a pressure group. But looking at it, some people might consider the leadership, some of the leaders within the COP running for or aspiring for position. And when the COP is trying to push their agenda, will the COP support the CPP candidate within the same election, or what would be the position of the COP if Minnie Parker runs as a senator in Bond County? That's one. Two, the next thing that has to do with the what are the options apart from protests?
Hello?
What are the other options? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, please hold on. Somebody is speaking, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my question, if we have other options apart from the protest, even though we know Judge Weah is reckless, he doesn't really care what are people, he doesn't like to handle things civilized way, but are there other options for not protesting? Even though we are probably COP is not legally registered, but can we go to the court as a probably just organized group to go and petition the court or to have a ban on that the data price increase? That's my question. Thank you.
Let me answer my brother Sanford. Sanford Roberts, thank you very much. The COP supporter, strong supporter, good friend of mine. Sanford, to answer your question, Minnie Parker Dimore is a member of the Liberty Party. In fact, he is an executive of the Liberty Party. and he wants to run in. He's doing an exploration. We've had a meeting about this as a COP. We've discussed this. The COP has asked Minipaka what his intentions are, and we've mandated Minipaka tomorrow to go and write us a report and tell us what his plans are, how he intends to go about this. We've had that meeting. I can't go into details yet. And Minipaka, if he wants to run, if he decides to run, right now he's doing an exploration. If he decides to run, Minipaka is going to have to be subjected to a primary process in the COP. So that's what's going to happen. He's going to be subjected to a primary process. If he wins the primary against whoever else is running from the CPP in Bone County, fine, we're going to support him. But he is in the opposition community, so in the CPP community. So that's we're supporting him within the opposition community under the framework of the CPP.
Okay. Yeah. We'll take 3 more callers and then we'll come with your closing statement, Henry. 612-636-3309. Tell us your name.
Mr. Garley,
612 number.
Is it 3309?
Yes.
Mr. Garley, how you doing? Good evening.
Is it Prince?
Yes, this is Prince Williams. Good evening, Mr. Garley.
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And Henry, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Prince. Long time.
Yeah, thank you for what you do, Henry. We appreciate it a whole lot, and Liberia owes a whole lot to what you do. I understand. I just want to know, you made it clear that it's unique in that of Africa and that of Liberia, but it's not unique that within the United States. It has a grassroots foundation here, and that is even after having researched that. That's the reason why I have affirmed my membership with the COP, because I believe in the ideology. I believe that it will take the lack of patriots to be able to change the dynamics of that country. So I want to highly commend you for what you do and for what has been established. I want to ask a question here, and then a proposal. Being the COP now, the leadership or the establishment of the leaders in the COP, would it be something that will be open up to the possibility that the people, the members who in the COP will decide that the leaders and be able to vote upon the leaders and select the leaders? And secondly, could I recommend that being a grassroots organization that is gearing towards changing the dynamic of our country, can we select people from each county, people from the grassroots level, from the villages, town chiefs, the chiefdom, to at least incorporate them into bringing them on board, so that at least they can have a voice too as well. And that is what I want to say. That's my recommendation. And after that, I just want to say to Julius, I hope you don't take offense. I was only referencing the fact that it's already been established by Henry here that this conversation will hear on Messenger. And I know that Messenger and WhatsApp has an end-to-end encryption. So nobody will digitally record you on those platforms because it has an end-to-end encryption. So whoever that did that recording may have used other secondary device. And that secondary device could be an analog device that you can plug into your phone.
Thank you.
So to be able to
thank you, Prince.
It would not be possible. That's why I'm referencing. So I hope you not be offended.
Thank you, Prince. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Please speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, this is Maku Yashua calling from Liberia.
You're live on the radio. Go ahead and make a point. Henry is listening.
You know, my brother, I just want to ask Mr. COSTA one question. So all of these things they were doing around here, they were just making noise to just establish their own political party, right?
Which political party
is that all they were making noise?
My brother, which political party have they established?
The CPP. I don't know COP or CPP.
But COSTA did not establish the CPP. Costa.
Yeah, who is the founder of CPP?
CPP, four political parties came together and decided to work together. You had the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the ANC, and the ALP.
At the end of the day,
hey, but don't talk different thing, but you already said we don't want to form the party. Then why you want to say again, Mr. Garley been educating you?
My brother, does that answer your question? Okay.
Mr. Garley, I wanted to say something to Brother Prince.
Yeah, go ahead.
He asked questions and I want to answer. Prince, I want to say thanks for your commitment, your support to the COP. We appreciate it. He asked about the leadership structure. Now, you see, Mr. Garley, we have some bad experience with the COP leadership at the top level, the very top, what we call the National Leadership Council. At the National Leadership Council, we have several members there, including two females. In fact, Mrs. Garley is one of them. Mr. Garley right here, his darling wife, she's one of them. And we have Madam Reverend Sanji Stepter. She's the other one. She's our Reverend, she's the treasurer. But we have a bad experience. We brought some people on board who have betrayed us. Rufus Novell, the EFFL. So you see, we are very concerned. We're very scared to incorporate people at that very top level. Mr. Garley, let me tell you something. The COP is so powerful that if we pick up John Brown from somewhere, nobody knew John Brown. The moment we put John Brown up there and announce John Brown to the public, automatically John Brown is a relevant person. John Brown now may use that relevance that has been given him because of his position and go leverage it for money. The case with Rufus Novell, EFFL, they did the same thing to us. So we are very careful when it comes to bringing people at the very top. There's another reason why we can't bring everybody at the very top. Mr. Garley, if you put 50 people at the top of the organization, do you know how difficult it is to have meetings and reach decisions? With 50 persons or 25 persons, you can't have everybody at the top. But, Prince, at the county levels, we're going to structure the COP at the counties, at the levels of at the level of the counties. So we're going to have the county chairman or county coordinator and county, this and county and district. So we are doing it at the county and district level. That's where we can incorporate a lot more people. But at the leadership level, and he has another question whether there will be elections. Of course, there will be elections. Elections for chairman of the COP, for vice chair, for this. But when we were forming the COP, Mr. Garley, you remember, we did not have chairman, we did not have vice chair. It was after June 7th before we decided to structure the COP and have positions. So we will have elections. And these elections, Prince can run for chairman. If the people want him, they will have him. Anybody can run for any position. So it's going to be open and it's going to be spelled out how long a chairman can serve for, how many years, how many terms you can have, and everything will be spelled out.
What, Mr. Costa, just before you leave, my plea to you. You are no longer a Liberian icon. You are not a continental icon. Just from what we read over the last few weeks, for being one of the top 50 men. And you're up there when it comes to vocabulary. You don't have to use profanity to get the message across. Why don't you go slow on the president a little bit? It's a way to speak to Joshua for him to listen to you. But sometimes you go too hard on the president. But the fact that we are in disagreement for what he has done and continue to do to our country, he's still our president. Why don't you rephrase your language towards the president?
Mr. Garley, it's a struggle for me. And you have been following the show even before George Weah came to power. Compare my language when Ellen was in power to now. It's not the same. George Weah is the one responsible for the way I speak to him. I'm sorry, but it's a struggle. I'm going to say it this way. It's a struggle. I struggle with this. There are times I don't want to talk like that, but it's so painful, Mr. Garley. It's so painful. Like the brother said, what I need, anger management. No, I'm angry when I talk about the issues that Mr. Weir does, but I'm not an angry person. And so the way I talk to Mr. Weir, if Judge Weir decides to behave better, look, this is a man who gets up and lies about everything. Free public university, da lie. Street lights from here to RIA, da lie. Factory company coming from Thailand to come hey like bro, da lie. Free current during coronavirus time, da lie. Ito money that lie. Igbo ban money that lie. Everything that lie. They making lie. They making lie. So it's difficult to have respect for this kind of man, Mr. Garley. Mr. Garley, you are president. You just lie. Everything that lie. I will respect you. You know, like all of day I said, just to make a little joke. When we're growing up, when you get lie on the Jew, then you say, you know, the Jew, we call them total liar. So, I mean, the way the guy can behave, my man, Mr. Garley, just total liar. So it's difficult. It's difficult. The man lies about everything. So I struggle with him, Mr. Garley. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't know, that I don't understand, or that I don't recognize or acknowledge that sometimes I'm too hard with my language, my diction. Yes, and I'm blessed. The average person has a vocabulary of 3,000 words. I'm not an average person. When I was growing up, I used to, the encyclopedia was my friend. It's Encyclopedia Britannica, the Encyclopedia of the African American Experience was my companion, and the dictionary was my companion. I read English literature from back to back. I mean, from back to front. You know, I mean, and so I have a quite handsome vocabulary. And so my diction is not shallow. It's quite deep. But Mr. Weir, the way he behaves, sometimes I got to talk to him in a way that hurts him, and I know it hurts him, Mr. Garley, and I do it sometimes on purpose because he complains about it. So I hope he changes his ways. If Mr. Weir can just pretend to be a decent guy, just pretend, and perhaps I would try to make some adjustment. But I understand what you said.
Okay, Mrs. Lexi Brooks Roberts, perhaps you have a word for Henry Costa. You are a huge fan of him. Come in and just speak to him a little bit, then we can get your closing comment as well. Mrs. Roberts? Okay. She left the line. Okay, Mr. Costa, man. Pleasure having you, my man. 2 hours of your busy schedule to come on here and share it with British Radio Africa is a blessing, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you, man. When our ears are open, kudos on the job that you guys plan to do with the COP.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. Always a pleasure. Keep doing what you do. I'm a big fan. I watch the show all the time. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Costa. Folks, I'm afraid that's all the time I have to be with you. God willing, I will be back tomorrow night. Same time, same place. Please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last. Tough people tell. The heart of a man is never known until you ask it. And there's no second chance